Hello again. This is the second part of our video tutorial. Here we are going to configure the cache refresh in Glue server. So let's log into our Glue server. Then go to configuration, cache refresh. For our primary job, we need just three sections here: cache refresh, customer backend key / attributes, and source backend LF server. Let's go to customer backend key / attributes. The first thing to configure is the key attribute. This is the primary attribute of your backend LF server. As for example, the most popular Active Directory primary key is SAM account name. For our case, as it's LF server, so the primary key is our key attribute is UID. Then the next piece of information you will need to enter is the object class. For these, you need to provide the proper object classes here to pull users information. For our case, it's person. Third thing is source attribute. This is basically the list of those attributes which you are going to pull from your backend Active Directory or LF server. As for example, like if you just want to pull one attribute like mail or email address, you will put it here and that's it. But for our case, we're going to pull some other attributes along with email address, which is CAND and SN, custom LF filter, SN asterisk, source backend LF server tab. So this is the information of your backend LDAP or Active Directory server. Name source. It's not mandatory to put it source. You can put it anything, whichever is easier and readable for you. BindDN is the user which we're going to use to read our backend directory server. Max connection should never be 0. It will be more than 0. We're going to use 3. Server and port, that's the host name or IP address of your backend Active Directory or LDAP server. For our case, it's testldap.glue.org 1636. As this is SSL port, so you have to use this thing. This is the BaseDN information. This is the information of tree from where we're going to pull our users information. For our case, it's OU equals to people, O equals to glue. Change bind password. This is the bind password of our BindDN user. Set password. Now, whatever we have inserted here, let's check if these are correct or not, or Glue server can connect to our LDAP server with these informations or not. In order to do that, you can use this test LDAP connection. Okay, LDAP connection test succeeded. That's good. All right, let's go to cache refresh part. Okay, you don't need to put any informations here. Last ran updates in the last ran. Refresh method copy. Add source attribute to destination attribute. So let's hit it. Here in the left side, you need to put the name of the attribute which is in your backend directory server. And on the right hand side, the name of that attribute into which we are going to pull the value of that backend directory server's information. For example, if you're using Active Directory, generally it's SAM account name, SAM name, or something like that. And we're going to pull that attribute's value into our Glue server, which will be UID. So we are not going to use any SAM account name here. So for our case, it will be UID equals to UID. Hit again. SN equals to SN. Mail equals to mail. Cn equals to Cn. Polling interval. This is a time interval between two cache refresh cycles. Cache refresh automatically runs after a set amount of time to sync your local LDAP server with your backend directory server. The standard polling interval is 15 minutes. Keep in mind that the larger the search, the less often you want to run cache refresh. So if you had 2 million users in your database, you would want to run cache refresh less frequently, say every hour or every day. Our test database is small, so I'm going to set the polling intervals 5 minutes. This is the server IP address. That means this is the IP address of your Glue server. Where your Glue server is installed, this is the IP address of that server. Our IP address is this. And then snapshot folder. This is basically Glue, after every cache refresh, Glue server print a report on that on that cycle, and you'll get those report here in this location. Snapshot counts how many reports you want to save for your cache refresh. So we're keeping it normal. Search size limit. This is the searching size limit of your backend Active Directory or LDAP server. So we're going to keep it and hit update. Okay, so our cache configuration is updated. All right. Okay, looks good. So whenever we're going to enable this cache refresh button and update it, our cache refresh will start running. Here, just a tip here. So what is going on in backend? If you want to see that thing, everything, I mean, whatever is happening in your cache refresh every time, you need to enable the debug logging of Oxtrust. I'm going to do that for you. Let's go to Oxtrust and search for log. So here, by default, it's info. We're going to put it debug, save configuration. Let's go to cache refresh and let's enable it. And then we're going to, okay, let's hit update. Okay, so let's see what log's saying. We need to wait for some time. So we couldn't update our users information here. That means something went wrong, most probably OC. Let's see what OC says. Yes, there is a syntax error here. So in that case, first we're going to disable cache refresh. And then we're going to check if there is any reports collected by cache refresh or not. Let's clean all those things. By the way, by cleaning all those reports, uh, you can run cache refresh from scratch. So if you need, for some reason that you need to, to run your cache refresh from scratch, you just need to clean these reports. So whenever you clean these reports, then cache refresh, consider it that you never ran cache refresh and it start everything from scratch. But just to give you a note, Running cache refresh from scratch is very resource hungry, so you should never do that in your production in business hours. You should do that if you really need that. You should do that after hours or some maintenance window. So let's keep tailing this thing. Cache refresh, and we're going to change the object class here. Update. Let's go to cache refresh. Let's enable it. Update. Okay. So let's wait for some time. See, cache refresh is running. We'll see some report by the end. Okay, so updated 2001 entries, failed to update 0 entries. That means no failure, and so on. So our cache refresh ran successfully. Let's go to cache refresh part again and see the last run. That's a server time and date. Updates at the last run and problems at the last run, 0. So let's search for one user just to make sure it worked. Manage people. I know I have a user called a glue tester in my backend LF server, so I'm gonna search for that user. Okay, so user is here. All right, sounds good. So as you can see, we have properly configured cache refresh, and we also face some issues there with the object class, which we troubleshooted there. And our third part is going to show how we can use the manage authentication section for our glue server. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.